If you have never gotten a tattoo and you have quietly resisted every cultural push to change that, this video is going to explain something about you that almost nobody talks about. Because in 2026, getting inked is no longer the rebellion. It is the default. Nearly 1 in 3 adults now has at least one tattoo, and in some age groups, that number climbs closer to half. Which means the real outliers, the real psychological case studies, are no longer the people walking around covered in ink. They are the people who, despite decades of shifting culture and constant peer pressure, have kept their skin completely untouched. Cognitive psychologists have quietly been studying these people. And what they found has nothing to do with fear of needles, nothing to do with tradition, and nothing to do with being closed-minded. There are 9 specific traits that keep showing up in the uninked. You will probably recognize at least 3 of them in yourself before this video is over. And the 9th one is the deepest reason most people stay blank for life without ever being able to explain why. The first reason is fluid identity. People who refuse tattoos tend to view themselves as a constant work in progress. Their sense of self is not a fixed object, it is a moving river. A tattoo, by definition, is a permanent snapshot of who you were at one specific moment in time. It locks a belief, an aesthetic, a phase into your biology. But the fluid identity mind quietly rejects that bargain. They do not want the version of themselves from 10 years ago making permanent visual decisions for the version of themselves arriving 10 years from now. To them, freedom is not expressing who you are right now. Freedom is leaving the space wide open for who you might become. The second reason is unmarked autonomy. We live in a culture saturated with branding, slogans, and constant identity broadcasts. Everyone is loudly displaying their traumas, their beliefs, their tribal affiliations directly on their skin. For the uninked, remaining blank becomes an unconscious rebellion against that noise. They do not see the body as a billboard or a public diary. They see it as a quiet vessel. In a world where everyone is screaming for attention through physical modification, choosing complete visual silence is its own radical form of self-ownership. The third reason is cognitive future-proofing. This one has nothing to do with pain. It has everything to do with a highly active prefrontal cortex calculating long-term variables. People who refuse tattoos often score high on measures of strategic thinking. Their brain automatically runs the simulation. The fading, the blurring, the natural changes of aging skin. They are not judging anyone, they are simply categorizing permanent body modification as one more unpredictable variable in an already chaotic life. Their brain ruthlessly prioritizes long-term adaptability over short-term self-expression. But if you thought that was deep, the next reason goes even further into how they think. The fourth reason is irreversibility sensitivity. Some brains weigh permanent decisions with significantly more gravity than others. For the uninked, the word permanent triggers a specific kind of internal alarm. It is not anxiety. It is not paralysis. It is reverence. They treat irreversible choices, marriage, having children, major financial moves, body modification, with sacred weight. They are not afraid of commitment. They are afraid of cheap commitment. They simply refuse to make a permanent decision casually because their brain has flagged casual permanence as one of the most expensive errors a human can make. The fifth reason is internal locus of identity. Most people build their identity from the outside in. They use what they wear, what they post, and what they mark on their body to remind themselves who they are. The uninked do the opposite. Their identity is constructed inward first. They do not need a visible reminder of a value, a date, or a belief, because the value and the memory already live somewhere deeper than skin. And once you live there, the urge to externalize it quietly disappears. The sixth reason is aesthetic minimalism. This is not a style choice, it is a wiring pattern. Some brains feel a deep, almost physical relief in clean lines, empty space, and visual silence. The same person who refuses tattoos is often the same person whose home has fewer objects and whose closet contains fewer colors. Their nervous system is calibrated to find peace in subtraction, not addition. So when they look at their own bare skin, they do not see a missed opportunity, they see a finished composition. And here is where the reasons get philosophical, because the next three are not about behavior. They are about how these people quietly understand the nature of being human. The seventh reason is the sacred vessel view. The uninked often share a quiet belief that the body is not theirs to permanently alter. They see it as inherited, as temporary, as something that was given, not designed. Underneath their refusal is the assumption that the body is a guest in this world, and a guest does not redecorate the house. Whether that house was built by God, by ancestry, by evolution, or by chance, the conclusion is the same. The skin is not a canvas, it is a courtesy. The eighth reason is strategic social calculus. The uninked read rooms unusually well. They are highly attuned to how visual signals shift across professions, generations, and cultures. They know a tattoo accepted in one room is quietly penalized in another. So instead of betting on which interpretation will dominate the next 40 years of their life, they simply decline the bet. It is not insecurity, it is foresight wearing the mask of caution. And then there is the ninth reason, the one nobody talks about. The ninth reason is mortality awareness. People who refuse tattoos often carry a deeper acceptance of impermanence than the average person. They know the body is fading. They know everything written on it will fade with it. And once you really feel that, the urge to write something permanent on a temporary surface quietly dissolves. It is not nihilism, it is peace. The relationships, the ideas, the kindness, the love, none of which can be inked, all of which outlive the canvas. For decades, psychologists studied tattooed people to understand why they altered their bodies. Today, the lens has flipped. Refusing to be marked is no longer passive, it is an active psychological stance. The quietest kind of statement a person can make. And it usually translates to something like this: I am already complete, and my story does not need to be written somewhere everyone can read it. If even 3 of these 9 reasons described you, you are not just someone who never got around to getting a tattoo. You are someone whose mind was simply built to stay blank. And now, you finally know why. For more helpful insights like this, please subscribe and like this video, which will be so helpful to my channel. Thank you.